Hey everybody, it's Party Elite! Welcome back to another episode of our Planet Zoo franchise mode Let's Play. We're gonna dive right back into Elite Zoo South. There is, as always, a tremendous deal to get done today, and I am extremely excited to dive into it, wrap up some loose ends, get in some of those brand new sponsor boards, and just finally get some time to sit down with some penguins. I think finally we're back with sort of a regular episode today where we're going to have, yes, a time lapse, but also some management afterwards. As many of you have mentioned, yes, we need more penguins for sure. I think maybe I wasn't super clear when I first did it now 3 sessions ago, I guess it would be. But the initial penguin purchases were purely for testing purposes. And now that we know the space works and they're relatively happy with it and stuff, now we're going to pile in all the penguins. Obviously, we want to make sure that we get decent quality genes with our penguins. At the time as well, when we first brought them in, we didn't have the pick of the litter, as it were. So hopefully we're able to get some pretty decent quality. It doesn't have to be the highest quality, but decent quality penguins. And we can add, I would say 10, 15, maybe at most over the course of today's episode. I want to do sort of some at the beginning, before the time lapse, and some after the time lapse, just so we have, again, a variety of selections. And I think, to some of your point in the comments, once the space is filled up with penguins, we're going to have a better idea of how it actually works, of how it actually feels, rather, I should say. With animals in place, it'll feel less... where are we? Just completely lost over here. We're just amongst a bunch of rocks. There we go. It'll feel a lot less empty once we have little penguins, waddling around and just having a good time in general. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to increasing the numbers over here. And actually, it was also pointed out, and again, thank you very much because it completely slipped my mind. But it was pointed out to me that we might need a water temperature regulator over here, because how is there not enough sand again? I thought okay, we'll add some more. Because it might be too warm for them in here. Zoopedia, please, real quick. Can we take a look at -20 to 17 degrees? I mean, what are we thinking over here? It said they were in, non-ideal temperatures. But it's not saying that right now. Their welfare, back when, a couple episodes ago now, their welfare wasn't ideal. I think that's why this is still up over here, but we'll keep an eye out for it because we might need to, help regulate temperatures over here. But I will go ahead and add some more sand actually right off the bat before it slips my mind. So we'll do that really quickly, and then we can get to some of the other tasks that were actually planned tasks. This is how it always is, though, right? There's always going to be something will always come up, and we'll have to kind of course correct, as it were. And I go ahead and there we go. Sure. Not sure exactly when we cause a reduction in sand, but I'll take it, I guess. So that's that taken care of. I've completely lost my my train of thought because of that little surprise. But yes, we need to get water treatment going on, or water temperature regulation going on. But on that note, we also need to move this water treatment facility. And actually, before that, on the note of animals making a space look full, oh my god. I realized that I'd mentioned this during one of the time lapses. I forget if it was last session or the session before that. But now you can see it properly, because I wanted to kind of highlight just how, look at it. I mean, look, this looks hilarious to me. It's just like an overwhelmed parent over here, just like, oh my god, what have I done with my life? Why have I let this happen? Why do I have 100 children? Look at that, though. There's so many of them. They look like little ticks or something when you zoom out. But no, for real though. In all seriousness, listen, hey, Manuel, Dolores, stop. Both of you, just in case, I'm missing a notification of adulthood among the children and all that. But yeah, so I think once we have enough penguins, this space will fill right up rather nicely, and we'll be okay. Now, question is actually, where does this water treatment facility cover? Got you, we have you, and we have, there's the water over here as well. I wonder if we are able to move it to somewhere up over here and still get decent coverage, because we have this facility over here as well, taking care of a lot of the water in this area, right? And there's a bit of overlap. So I think we might actually be able to move this facility somewhere up over here, allowing our staff to obviously take care of it, but also allowing us to connect the path over here and actually make this loop whole. So that's something to keep in mind. I'll probably try and quickly do that during the time lapse as well, so you don't have to watch me struggle with placing a water treatment facility. Well, the problem though is getting there. I wonder if I instead have to kind of like pull back over here somewhere, or oh, it's gonna be interesting actually. This is gonna be tougher than I had initially anticipated. We might need an extra one, because we might need one that's like over here to cover these guys, right? And then we're gonna need one to cover this, and I guess I could put a facility down somewhere over here. Got nothing else going on, but that's such a long distance to go just for one water treatment facility. Oh dear, okay. Gonna have to figure this out. I could, of course, have a staff path go up that way. Right past this, go up that way. Somewhere deep in here. Yeah, I might just do that. Alright, cool. But with that done, there is, or with that discussed rather, there's a couple stuff I want to do before we dive into the time lapse. Not going to take very long. The first order of business is actually to get some names in, not just of stalls. I've got some excellent names for stalls, but I also have some excellent names for new staff. So, first off, we have a brand new keeper. So if I could just get ourselves to the keepers over here. And let's go ahead and rename you to Trigart. I want to make sure I spelled this correctly. And again, and as always, folks, if I get any of these names incorrectly, please do not hesitate to correct me. I do want to get them right, or as close to right as I possibly can, you know, in reading. So please don't hesitate to correct me. So we've got Trigart over here as our newest keeper joining in. We have with us also a new vet. I want to make sure it applies. There we go. A new vet, and I believe we actually might need to hire more vets, if I'm completely honest. I've realized lately I've very often been like, oh, we should leave vets out and about as well as researching, but we've been adding animals at such pace that I do feel like we should perhaps add some more vets just as a whole. And in fact, it looks like this is a perfect time to do it as well. So why don't we go ahead and add ourselves a new vet. Go ahead and, well, let's actually take you close to where you're going to spend more of your, I guess, time over here. Pop you down over here. And let's go ahead and name our newest vet. Where are you? Oh, I gotta go down. Go ahead and name you after Mariah Kelly. Whoops. Keyboard just decided to ignore my typing there for a second. So we have our latest vet joining in as well in Mariah Kelly. So thank you very much, of course, for the support. And again, as a reminder, folks, for patrons and channel members, if you want to have a staff named after you, or just if you want to get the name in for a staff member, feel free to let me know. Again, I try to do it once a month. I try not to do it too many back-to-back episodes or anything like that. But yeah, we've got 2 new named staff members this time around. Joining a rather large, actually, I'm curious. 8 educators. Oh, you're able to minimize these. 8 educators, 28 caretakers, 29 keepers, 18 mechanics, 14 security guards, 141 vendors. Wow. No wonder this takes so long to scroll. And still scrolling. My fingers are getting tired from all the scrolling. Oh my god. Oh dear. 9 vets. Okay. Whew. That's a lot of vendors. Oh my god. All right, cool. Just develop carpal tunnel just scrolling up and down this this list over here. What? Wild. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a massive zoo with a lot of people making sure that it's running at all times, right? But let's go ahead and get some more names in. So I got some excellent suggestions. I have some names of enclosures that we're going to be putting down as well, but we'll do that during the time lapse. Let's go ahead and get some names in for some of these vendor stalls as well. Again, as always, it's always a challenge picking names out because I always get some great suggestions. So let's go ahead and start off with, let's start with our washroom over here. Not to be forgotten, of course, we have over here our toilet block, henceforth to be known as King Peguano, because penguins and guano, peguano. I like. There's something about the transition between saying the pe and the guano that it feels like there's an N there. You know what I mean? Like there's that kind of like that nasal iguana. There's you know what I'm talking about, right? Hopefully I'm not sounding. You know what I mean, right? So it feels like it works on so many levels. So we got King Piguano over here for our washroom. Our pip shot water shall instead be known as lip shot water. I love little flippers. Make sure we actually. I will never get over. It just made me remember once more the where'd it go? What was the line again? Oh, where is it? Where'd you go? Somewhere down here. Fixing a crush. Root pouch. Where are your feathers? I can't find it right now. I don't want to take too much time looking for it. But there we go. They will fledge in the summer. I just can't help but think about that as we refer to their flippers. Next up, we have our Street Fox coffee over here, which will now be called Polar Espresso, which it's just like, yeah. There's like, I was just like, I got nothing to say to these things that would like enhance what they're amazing. You know what I mean? It's just like, yeah, Polar Espresso. I got nothing to add to that. It's good stuff. This is good stuff. And with them Excelente, we have, God, chili con carne. Am I saying that right? I'm probably butchering that because the only time I've ever heard somebody say con carne is like on TV, in like, you know, movies and TV shows and stuff. So I'm sure I'm butchering that, but chili con carne, are you kidding me? Come on. Good stuff, good stuff. We got our flip shot water, we got our we got our Polar Espresso, and we've got our chili con carne. The thing about Polar Espresso as well is that, like, you know, a lot of people will say espresso as like an espresso. Watch, this is where I turn out to be wrong, and it actually is espresso. Oh my god, wouldn't that be embarrassing? No, it's espresso, right? But a common mispronunciation of espresso is espresso. So Polar Express, but actually not, because it's Polar Espresso. I just... And of course, not to be forgotten, King Piguano. I do quite like how naming toilet blocks has become a consistent feature of Elite Zoo South. Maybe one day we need to go back to Elite Zoo North and rename all the unnamed toilet blocks over there. It's always about evolving our approach to things, and unnamed toilet blocks are a thing of the past. I'm not the only one who hears that, like, that N sound I'm talking about, right? Please let me know if you hear it as well, because I can't be the only one. Anyway, with that done, and with the staff names in as well, I do believe it's time for us to dive into our time lapse. Just taking a quick look at my notes over here. Want to make sure I've got all my bases covered. So during the time lapse, of course, we're going to be doing a bit of a beauty pass. We're going to be adding some more names in. We're going to be getting some sponsor boards in, and we're going to be maybe, I think, working on the wayfinding, or depending on how much time we have left after all the other work is done, we'll either do the wayfinding, or we're gonna go ahead and dive on into this part of the zoo once again to kind of get some work done over here. There is a lot of work to be done across the board, so folks, there's no more time to waste. We're going to dive right on in. I just want to mention very quickly that I didn't mention this right at the beginning. Again, folks, and as always, if you've been enjoying the series, if you'd like to see it continue, please don't hesitate. Keep letting me know. Leave a like, leave a comment. They all get read. They all make a very big difference as well in letting me know what people want to see on the channel or what they don't want to see on the channel. So keep all that coming. And with that said, folks, it's time lapse time. Except it's not. I'm sorry. It's not time lapse time yet. I said I was going to do this, and then it slipped my mind. But I want to make sure that we are actually checking. Nope. Over here, checking for king penguins first, and then we can dive into the time lapse. Because again, you know, there might be some really high quality ones that we miss out on because we spend however long in the time lapse, and you know, they'd be off the market by then or what have you. But obviously, knowing my, ooh, you know, actually some of these guys are not that bad. George over here is all right. Harrison, okay, longevity's a little low, but that's fine. It's fine. Lucy, how you looking? Pretty good. Size is kind of on the small side, but I'm like 3 greens, 1 yellow is really not a bad combination, right? Compared to some of the other stuff that you can end up. Lucy, I thought we Lucy? Lucy? Lucy in the animal market with diamonds here, apparently not wanting to leave. Come on. No? Okay. Alright, well, what if we, maybe our... No, there's no way our trade center is too full. No way. We, like, just emptied it so recently. I want Lucy. I'm like, it's like a mission for me now. Lucy. What's going on? Watch, I've adopted like 100 Lucys here. Nope, that's so weird. I'm really not sure what's going on there. Over to quarantine for you as well. Let me just check once more. Third time's the charm. More like 20th time. Oh, Luca over here. I don't know. 4,000 for these stats? I don't know. I feel like we kind of picked up some decent stats for just money. Why is this not working? Refreshing? Well, I can only try so many times before I have to give up, right? Fair enough. I mean, Luca's stats are decent, but it's that appeal that's big, though. 3,600. You know what? You know what? You make money to spend money. You make conservation credits to spend conservation credits. Let's go ahead and get Luca in here as well. Everybody will want to come and take a look at him, and hopefully it'll make the penguin enclosure a bit more popular as well. It'll draw people towards it. I don't know. I'm a little concerned about its placement and size and stuff. I really hope people check it out. I think the washrooms and the food and all that will help a fair bit, but who knows? We're about to find out, though. All right, now, for real, we've done that, and again, I apologize for that. For real, though, now, folks, it is, in fact, Timelapse time. All right, folks, time for a very juicy time-lapse where we actually accomplish quite a bit. Actually, I guess I accomplished everything I kind of set out to do off the bat. I had some like wishful thinking that I mentioned before we dove into the time-lapse, but everything that I really wanted to get done, we actually got done, so I'm really pleased with this time-lapse. First order of business, sponsor boards. And the first sponsor board that's coming up is for the Nile Monitor, where we're adding a very modern aesthetic sponsor board to fit with the modern aesthetic of the overall enclosure and like the outdoor dome and everything. I feel like it fits in quite nicely, and it also kind of looks like a bit of a monitor, and that's kind of a nice visual gag, which I couldn't help myself from doing. And the actual sponsor himself is Ryan Knowles. Again, let me know if I am butchering these pronunciations, folks, please. Ryan Knowles in as our sponsor for the Nile Monitor. Looking absolutely classy. I really like this this board. I had to find a different typeface as well that worked better for this this sponsor board. Typically we go with racing, but this one I forget the name now, but we had to go with a different one, so it worked a bit more nicely with the overall aesthetic of the board as well. But with that one done, the next one up is for the cheetahs, adding a new one with their like racing light up streaks of energy. And here we have me double checking the spelling to make sure I get it correct. We have with us Corosaurus as our newest addition for cheetah sponsorship. Next up, all the way on the other side of the zoo, over to the koalas to add a brand new sponsor for our koalas. Struggling with the trees being selected every time I try to do a box selection over here. And also realizing that a nice little update could be made over here where we could get some lighting coming out from the middle of the sponsor board as well. Initially I was going to get rid of the sponsor board, but then I added it instead. I added the light instead, I mean. Mariah Kelly is our newest koala sponsor. And over here with the penguins, I'm going to create something new again over here. And I wanted to create something, what's the word I'm looking for? Rustic, I guess, is the phrase for it. Kind of matches our little eating, like our chill spot, if you will, where you can go and grab a meal. Has that rustic vibe to it. So we've got a little like a wooden plank over here. We've got this penguin sculpture over top of it, and using some of the snow rocks to create that piled snow effect, which I'm glad many of you, by the way, reacted very positively to. That's always good to see. But I have seen your responses, and I'm glad to see y'all like how the snow pile up kind of looks. And so we've got that going on over here as well. I thought it'd be quite nice to kind of like mimic like or set up like a bench across from the sponsor board itself. And the first of two penguin sponsors that we're adding today is, after I once again check my notes, you can see where I kind of paused to check my notes. I was like, wow, yeah, I thought that very nervous about spellings and stuff over here. We've got Trigart sponsoring our penguins, our king penguins, and we also have Oh, actually, I make some adjustments over here because I realized, yeah, I wanted to go down that way, but then I couldn't put benches down because of the slope, and it is what it is. I still like it because we would have eventually gone up this way as well. But Fipsy coming in as our second sponsor for the King Penguins. Quite liking how this space is turning out, and actually adding the sponsor boards has kind of, what's what I'm looking for, like added some more activity to the space as well, so that's worked out quite nicely. Next step still involves names, but a little different perhaps. We are going to be naming some of these enclosures that have been without names for a very, very long time. Now here you can see me verifying some information actually, and I wanted to verify that in the DRC, Congo, I thought this was hilarious, just staring at the wall there. Reminds me of one of our red pandas from Elite Zoo North. But yeah, I wanted to verify that in the DRC, Swahili is a spoken language because the name references, or the name is a Swahili name, and so I just wanted to make sure that I had that right before I got this name down. There's a tendency. I'm not saying in the comments, please don't misunderstand me there. I'm not saying in the comments, but there is a tendency just in general in the world to be like, oh, it's from Africa, and just like paint Africa with one broad like brushstroke, and I try to avoid that as best as possible to my knowledge, and so I wanted to make sure that the language we're referencing isn't just quote unquote an African language, but a language that's actually used in the area that the animal is present in, and the reference of the enclosure and everything like that. So we have over here, and I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, so feel free to correct me, of course, and help me learn how to say it right, but Ndugu Nyumbani roughly translates to brother's home, and it's a sort of a reference, I guess, to the ancestral connection, the you could call it familial connection we have in our history, and I quite like that. So again, and correct me if I've got anything wrong there, but it is from the comments. I take a Swahili word, Ndugu Nyumbani. But moving on from that, we have our other enclosure in the same area. I think I won't need to explain the name connection over here, but it is Goodall's Glade, and I quite like that this kind of ties into Darwin's Den. You kind of start at Darwin's Den, you come all the way around over here, and you end at Goodall's Glade. It feels like you start with a name, you end with a name. There's a thing there I quite like. Now with the cheetahs, we're going with the name Machozi Mahali. It means the place of tears. Again, a rough translation. A place, sorry, not a place, but that was me saying like U-H, sorry. Machozi Mahali means place of tears. Again, I think it's a rough translation, right? But the reference is to the black marks under the eyes of the cheetah, which, as far as, again, when I was looking this up, I found a lot of places that were like, yes, an African tale tells the story of, and it's like, Africa? What Africa? Where African? Like, I mean, is it three different? If it could be something Pan-African, but like, surely there are variations. Give me a bit more than just African. Whole continent. I did some more research, and it seems like at least there's a Zulu version of it. And so the Zulu version of this tale is about a lazy hunter who was out for a hunt but got lazy, and that's why he's the lazy hunter. Didn't want to do the hunting, and so instead he waited and saw a cheetah mother successfully accomplish a hunt and try to feed her cubs, and found out where those cubs were kept and everything, and so decided that, hey, if I had a cheetah for myself, and the cheetah could do the hunting for me, and so stole the cubs from the mother. And when the mother came back at night from like a visit to like the nearby lake or whatever for some water, when she came back, she cried and cried and cried because she didn't have her cubs, and those tears made permanent marks on her face. And even though the village that the lazy hunter belonged to punished him, drove him off, and returned the cubs, and the mother cheetah was very happy. But even though that happened, the tears had already left a permanent mark on the mother and on all cheetahs for time to come moving forward. And that's the reference to the tears there with the cheetahs. Meanwhile, with the penguins, and that one penguin judgmentally looking at the name over here and my artwork, I suppose, the penguins are getting waddle walk. I quite like that. It's a nice alliteration, and of course penguins waddle, and as they are waddling, you are walking through this walk-through enclosure. I think it works on many levels, and if I've learned anything today, it's that I shouldn't try and tell a cultural anecdote in the middle of a time lapse where I'm going to be jumping between multiple enclosures. I apologize if I was unclear with this story. It's a really nice story. If you look up if you look up Zulu Cheetah Tears legend or myth, I think you'll come up with the story as well. It's quite nice, and it's quite detailed. I've obviously given you sort of the Cliff's Notes of it, the shortened version of it. I love myths that are question answer myths. You know, like why X. Those are always fun. But yeah, that's sort of the impetus of the name. When you hear, you know, Place of Tears, don't think it's a particular. I mean, I guess it's a sad backstory, but it is a reference. It's a cultural reference, and I quite like that. And I thought I was done over here, but then I realized I was not. I promised this, I'm pretty sure, last session, or maybe even before the time lapse today. We're gonna head on over here and finally get the name down for the warthogs as well. The warthog enclosure is going to be called Al-Bitir Terrace. Al-Bitir meaning warthog or bush hog in the Maasai dialect. I quite like it. There's also a bit of wordplay that ties into Hakuna Matata. For those of you that are interested in it, it will come after the time lapse because we are out of time over here, folks. We're about to head right on back after a look at this pig. Alright, folks, we are back from the time lapse, and it is really kind of wild to think about just how many things still needed naming. It was I was really not expecting it to take basically the entirety of the session today, but you know, here we are, and not the entirety of the session, but the entirety of the time lapse. But hey, as I was saying, here we are, and a lot of progress has been made. At least there's that. I mean, like, honestly, it felt good finally getting a name down for the warthogs. So let's go ahead and take a look at everything we accomplished during that time lapse. Make the names official, and then go ahead and hit play. Let the penguins roam free and enjoy the space we've made for them, right? So first things first, want to go ahead to our Nile monitor over here, where we have our first newly added sponsor board for Ryan Knowles. We've got then all the way up over here among the cheetahs, the addition of a new sponsor board for Horosaurus. Following that, we have all the way, it's kind of wild actually during the time lapse as well. It's like moving across the map like this was wild how like big the zoo is. All the way over here, we have with us, whoa, not over here, a little bit further up. Where are we? Where am I? I'm out over here. There we go. Such a big zoo. We have Mariah Kelly. You're joining in to sponsor the koalas. Did I say koala bear? Did I say koala bear again? It's one of those things. Every time I say koala, 5 minutes later, well, 30 seconds later, I go, did I say koala or did I say koala bear? I always, story of my life, man. Story of my life. But moving on to the final set of sponsor boards, we have over here among the penguins, Trigart and Bipsy. All in place. I do like, you know, something I want to comment on is the this penguin thing. So it's the same model as these penguins, right? Like here, same model except smaller, which I appreciate. I like having multiple sizes. That's why I always want a scaling thing. But whereas all the others have a like a mirrored version and a regular version, right? This one does not. I don't know if it's just because I haven't unlocked it. This is the reward statue of the king penguin made out of stone. I'll be completely frank with you. I'm not sure how I got that reward, but I'm glad I have it. But yeah, there's no mirror version of it, so this is only the one side. Either way, I quite like how all of our sponsor boards look, of course. So glad to have some things, some tools to play with. But that's not all we accomplished here today. I do want to say thanks, of course, to everybody who has been you know, sponsoring the animals or becoming staff members and stuff. Just it really has helped. That kind of support again really does help keep these longer running series running longer. So I do want to just say thank you really quickly before we dive on in now to talking about the names of some of these enclosures. Again, a lot of these names we've been waiting on for a very long time, so it's nice to have them. And it's actually it's kind of wild seeing these on like kind of like the flyby, if you will, if you want to call it that. I really like how these names kind of stick out and have this like prominent bit of visibility from an unusual, let's call it, angle. So first off, over here, and I will be butchering pronunciations, I apologize for that. Please feel free to correct me if you know better, and some of you I know do know better. So feel absolutely free to correct me. But over here, among our, or not among, sorry, but for our bonobos, we have, just gonna write it down first because I'm gonna throw myself off otherwise. Ndugu Nyumbani. So Ndugu Nyumbani means in Swahili, brother's home. And I actually checked up to make sure, but that in the DRC, Swahili is one of the like major languages. I was not 100% certain, so I did double check. And hopefully the translation is accurate. Again, this is from the comments, so if there are any slight adjustments that need to be made, let me know. But yeah, Ndugu Nyumbani. I don't know if I'm even close to correct on that, and if I'm not, or even if I'm close, try and help me get closer, of course, if you can. So there you have it. That's for the bonobos. Of course, the tie-in to the brother being a genetic kind of a reference in terms of them as our brothers and all that. And I quite like how this kind of works quite nicely. We've got Darwin's Den, right? You loop back around, and then you've got a reference to like an ancestral is a bit of a, not enough of a stretch of a time, I suppose, but you've got a bit of an ancestral reference, and then to cap it off, we have a sort of a continuation of that, but also another name, another famous name come up with Goodall's Glade over here. And again, I'm really quite pleased with how I pulled this apostrophe off. Not gonna lie, when I got to the second L in Goodall's, I was like, oh no, how do I get the apostrophe to float up there without putting a post down or anything? Because like the L, right, leaves no room to play over here. But fortunately with the S, I was like, okay, if we can just angle it just right, it'll look quite good. And I'm really actually quite pleased with how that looks. So Goodall's Glade over here. So let's go ahead and get this name made official. Goodall's Glade. I don't know why, but I always worry about spelling these wrong. At first I was like, did I put in 2 D's? And then I was like, wait, am I supposed to put in 2 D's? And then I was like, did I put in 1 O? Is it supposed to be 1 O? It's like, I know how to spell this name. Oh god, again, imagine I got this all wrong. It's like, I know how to spell this. Why am I like triple guessing myself? But yeah, so Goodall's Glade. And next up, we have, I think just up over here, in fact, why not? Let's do this next. We have Machozi Mahali. And this means place of tears. Roughly, I think it's a rough translation. Again, feel free again to correct me. And I've actually, I might have rambled about this during the time lapse, but Mahali is a very interesting word. I assume Mahali here is the place, is the word that means place, and Machozi is tears. This is a reference to the tears on the face of the cheetah. Again, in case I didn't mention that during the time lapse, but Mahali I find interesting because in Hindi, I believe, maybe even Urdu. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's also in like, Farsi and stuff. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised is what I'm saying. But in Hindi and I think Urdu, so we know the word mahal, from like Taj Mahal, right? Mahal means palace, if I'm translating this correctly. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. But there's also maholle. I think I'm saying that horribly wrong. Maholle, something like that. Close to that, and that means like a place. It's a hard to translate kind of a word. Like a quarter, like a neighbor, like not like a neighborhood, but like an area or that kind of a place. When I say place, you know what I mean? And again, my translations might be a little bit off, so. Again, feel free to correct me, but I find it interesting that there's a similar sounding word for a similar type of meaning. Again, if you follow this channel, you know very well that kind of stuff fascinates me. And again, the Indo-European or the Indo-Aryan language group, is like a widespread thing, and you get the languages that have come out of it have just they're pretty much everywhere. Obviously not entirely everywhere, but pretty much everywhere. So I kind of wonder if there was an intersection here, or if these words have come up completely separate from each other. And I'm curious either way, but it's come up a couple of times, and I've wondered sort of every time. Anyway, that's not the last of them, though. We, of course, also have the one that many of you have been waiting so very, 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 very long for. I just realized, actually, before we can get to that, so you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Not intentional, I promise you. That was not intentional. Over here, we actually need to make this name official, right? So let's go ahead and put down Machozi Mahali. There we go. Machozi Mahali. And again, feel free to correct me if I've got these a little bit off, right? All right. Good there. So now, finally, it is time to take a look at... I'm going to probably get this one wrong as well, but Albatir Terrace. So Albatir is apparently the word for warthog, or perhaps bush hog, in the Maasai dialect. So yeah, I'm glad to be able to integrate that a little bit. I got a couple of suggestions. Like I said, I've had suggestions from a long time ago. If you try to find this, it's like, I can't even remember. It's like 20, 30, 40, maybe even 60 or something episodes ago. When did we add the warthogs? It was like 2 episodes or so after we added the warthogs. I've had this name in my back pocket for the longest time, and I was just like, yeah, when we come back over here, I'll get that name, and I'll get that name, and we just haven't had the chance to come back over here in so long. So it just feels good to finally have this this done, and I certainly feel all better. Okay, all right. Gonna walk away from that now, and I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna make the name official. So, all Batir Terrace. There you have it. Done. Finally. Nice to put a cap on things sometimes, right? Go ahead and unpause now. Let's let our penguins get their checkups done over at the vets, and then we'll bring them into our enclosure over here and make sure they're having a good time. I really hope we get to see some guests over here. We also got to put down donation bins, education boards, all kinds of stuff. Like we're still kind of not near done this enclosure. I mean, I say that, but we still have work that needs doing, is I guess what I mean to say. It's not like we're far away from done, but there is still work that needs doing. I don't know exactly how I want to get these TVs and stuff up over here, you know? Like, I guess we could do some of these like this, right? Right on the quote-unquote rock walls, I suppose. Oh, by the way, it is good to hear that, yes, this kind of like striation and stuff can absolutely happen horizontally and vertically, like the rocks and the changing directions. What are the chances that we just are like inches away from... oh, this was a person. I thought this was a guest. I was like, oh, hey, we have some guests. That we're just inches away from being able to use the education boards over here. We could... actually, can't put a solar panel down here. We should be able to put one down over there, and maybe one down over here. I don't know if the game will allow this sunlight to be considered as part of, like as like actually active. I'm not sure. Try this. Don't need guests coming up here, right? So pop you down like that, maybe. I see. Oh, blocked by shelter. I guess you're not working. I guess not. Huh. Alright. Kill these escaped animals. What's going on here? Got an escaped... No, dangerous fighting. Alright. But first of all, gotta get the 2 of you. Come on. To the trade center, yep. And then we have an escaped bonobo who has unescaped. We have some ideal temperature problems over here. Okay, so the water is, yeah, looking like it's going to be a bit of an issue. Okay, so hold on. Okay, there's too many moving parts right now. So blocked by, I mean, I guess there's light over here. So that's fair for it to not work down there. Will it work over here? And if not, what will my solution be? I get a connection here, even just a test. There's clearly sun here, right? Will you work? Oh, blocked by shelter. Alright. That's gonna be a problem. Some quarantines have passed over here. Go ahead and get all of you moving over to I realized the place, perhaps ironically, the place whose name we haven't discussed or applied, even though it's been the focus of our conversation for so long. Habitat 49, folks, is no longer Habitat 49, of course, but it is instead, as we close this, Waddle Walk, because penguins obviously waddle, and this is a long walk for our guests to take as well. Oh, yeah, that guy's pointing out the name. He likes the name. We're gonna pretend. It's good that they're wearing their shades in here, you know, because the reflection of the sun off the snow can be quite blinding. Guy's just like not interested. He's like, okay, I don't know what you guys think you're looking at. I'm just gonna be over here instead. Nice. Well, hey, at least we're getting guests in here. Oh, dude, come on, they're so fun to watch. They're totally watching this guy. They're absolutely turning around to watch him. That was thoroughly entertaining. All right, I'm gonna chalk this up as a win, as a penguin. Slowly walking away from that joke. Did not appreciate that. That one too is just like, no, we don't know this man. All right, fine, be this way. Let's go ahead and establish the name over here officially as well, though. I believe I can do it over here. Yep, little waddle. You have it. There we go. Nice. More vet research progress over here. Looks like on the Western chimpanzee. Cool, cool, cool. What needs doing over here? Right, we need power. You know what? At a bit of a loss over here with regards to how we can get power. Now, wouldn't mind getting like some TVs down over here and stuff as well, right? So we can like establish that first if we want. I don't know why it's snapping down like this, but alright, we can do this kind of stuff as well. Get the penguin board over here. We could get one up over here as well, I suppose. More penguins coming through right now. Excellent. Come on. There we go. Cool, cool, cool. Quite like this picture. It's a very, very artsy picture. It's so fun to watch. Alright, good. Looks like we've got somebody in a box for too long. William, why? Get out of there. This camera. Just like traveling to the middle of nowhere. Back down to here. Power. I really gotta figure this out. I mean, I don't want to put a generator down, though. Maybe a generator up over here isn't such a terrible idea. We also need to get water temperature regulation thing down too, but also South America. West. Go ahead and add all of these. And you. Cool. That should be good. Yeah, there's still a couple things to do over here. Can I get generator? No, I'd have to be all the way up over here, and I don't know. Not an easy place to get to for our staff either, right? I don't want to just put down a bunch of stairs for no good reason. Okay, this is gonna be a toughie. I wonder if wind turbines, I guess they'd work. I just gotta like nudge them further away, and their range is okay, but like if I do put a wind turbine in a corner where it's not gonna get any wind, like over here, these things are huge too. Oh man. Oh man, okay. Do I get rid of some of the covering over here to let the sun in? You know what, folks? I really gotta figure this out. There's some stuff for me to think about. Do I want to get... this is the thing. I could put some solar panels at the top over here, but actually... Did you... How... Is he just laughing? How did you get out here? Get back in your... I didn't realize how easily climbable all this was, I guess. Yeah, prevent their escape, please. I don't know why this is so high. Here we go. Unexpected turn of events there. Birds, they always get away from me. They always find a way out. They always find a way out. More vet research complete. What do we got? Chimpanzees or something else here? Bonobo, cool. Those guys will be done soon, hopefully. The bonobos and the chimpanzees both. Folks, there's actually a fair bit for me to think about over here. What's wrong with the... Oh, yeah, the water's also... Okay. Bit of a challenge left over here, folks, with regards to the water temperature and power supply. And we got to get donation bins, speakers, and all that kind of stuff set up. So next session will likely be focused on getting that stuff done very quickly right off the bat, and then diving into adding in our next animal. I do want to get our next animal in sooner rather than later, so I'm going to try and find a way to try and blend both of those tasks together at the same time, but it's going to be quite the undertaking, more of an undertaking than I expected, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on how we should get the power in there. Should I make a little kind of cubby area where we hide a generator, a transformer, I guess, and a water temperature regulation facility, or do I actually poke a hole and let the sun in a little bit through a skylight? I thought the glass would be enough, but I guess not. I guess it's not. Folks, with that said, though, this is, we're going to call it a session for today. I hope you had a good time. If you did, you know what to do. Let me know by leaving a like and a comment down below. As always, it makes a massive difference in how I approach content on the channel, what I do, what I don't do. Y'all know the drill by now. Again, a massive thanks, as always, to the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And, of course, a big ol' thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time. Cheers.